Hello guys, in this video I'll be talking about what an acid-base reaction is, what its four components are, and how to identify those four components in a chemical reaction. So first things first, what is an acid-base reaction? An acid-base reaction is a reaction when an acid substance interacts with a base substance by exchanging protons to neutralize one another. So first things first, what is an acid substance? An acid substance is like what it does in an acid-base reaction, it releases protons. In a base substance, it absorbs protons in this type of reaction. Now, protons itself are positive, right? Like protons itself, they're positive. So when you release them, you're ultimately losing a proton. And when you lose a proton, your overall charge gets more negative. Now, when you absorb a proton, you're gaining something positive, so your overall charge is going to be more positive. And we'll go over what a conjugate base and a conjugate acid is later in the video. But let's go ahead and get some practice in, and let's see if we can identify these components in a chemical reaction. So we have NH3 plus H2O, and that's going to form NH4 plus OH minus. Okay, so first things first, I keep saying that. Okay, so let's start off with NH3. Excuse me. Excuse me. On the product side, we see it gains a hydrogen, as now it's NH4, and it gains a positive charge, right? And in an acid-base reaction, when you gain a positive charge, that means you're absorbing a proton. And that is what a base substance does. So this is going to be your base. Now let's go to H2O. It starts off with H2, so 2 hydrogens, and an overall charge of 0. It's neutral. Now on the product side, you lose a hydrogen, as it's now just OH, and it gains a negative charge. To gain a negative charge, you must have lost a proton or release a proton. And in an acid-base reaction, acid substances release protons. Excuse me. So this is going to be your acid. Now, with conjugate acids and conjugate bases, one easy way to remember how to classify them is whatever's on the reactant side, you put the opposite on the product side, but you just put the word conjugate in front of it. So NH3 was a base, then it turned to NH4 plus. So we're going to put the opposite. So this is going to be acid, right? This is going to be acid. And then we're going to put the word conjugate. So this is the conjugate acid. That looks so ugly and just everywhere. This is your conjugate acid. And same thing with H2O. This is an acid, so on the product, it's going to be the opposite, a conjugate base. Definitely spelled that wrong. Conjugate base. Let's go ahead and try one more. Okay, so real quick, I also want to clarify this. HNO3, right? Let's just say we have that. If you just have this, you do not have enough information to classify it as a acid, base, conjugate acid, or conjugate base. You need to have at least one reactant and one product. So I'm going to go ahead and finish off this reaction. This is going to be HNO3 plus H2O, and that's going to form NO3 minus plus H3O plus. Now we have enough information to classify it. I encourage you to pause the video and see if you could try this one on your own. And now I'm gonna work through it. So let's start off with HNO3. I'm gonna change colors real quick. So we start off with HNO3, then we go to the other side. We notice that it took away a hydrogen as it is now just NO3, and it gained a negative charge. So that means this released a proton. So this is going to be an acid. Now H2O, we see that its overall charge is 0, so it's neutral, and it has 2 hydrogens. And it forms 3 hydrogens, so it gained a hydrogen, and it gained a positive charge. So this is going to be your base since it's absorbed a proton. And we know that the product is going to be the opposite of the reactant, so this is going to be your conjugate base. And this is going to be your conjugate acid. And this is it. We just classified all 4 components of an acid-base reaction in this reaction. Let's go ahead and try one last one. Okay, again, we have a chemical reaction here. And we're going to start off with changing my color. No, I'm playing. So this is going to be, we're going to start off with HF, right? And we see that it's a neutral charge and it has 1 H, but then it forms F minus. So it lost a hydrogen and it gained a negative charge. So that means it once again released a proton. And what releases protons? Acid substances. So this is going to be an acid. Now HCO3 has 1 hydrogen, has a negative charge of 1, and when it forms 2 hydrogens, and it gets a neutral charge. And to go from a negative charge of 1 to a neutral charge, you must gain a positive charge to cancel out that negative. So this gained a proton. And what gains protons in an acid-base reaction? Bases. So this is going to be your base. And then, like I said before, what's on the reactant? It's going to be opposite on the product. So this is going to be your conjugate base. And this is going to be your conjugate acid. And those are all 4 components labeled in this chemical reaction. Alright, to close things off for this video, I have 2 final problems. I gave y'all 1 reactant and 1 product for each problem. And I want y'all to try to solve these on y'all's own. So pause the video and try it. And I'm going to work through it right now. So we start off with NH3. Then we gain a hydrogen as it's not an NH4. And we gain a positive charge. So this absorbed a proton, and bases absorb protons. So this is going to be a base, and this is going to be a conjugate acid. For the second problem, we start off with HSO4 minus. So we have 1 hydrogen, a charge of -1, and it forms SO4 minus 2. So it lost its hydrogen, and it gained a negative charge to make it -2. So it released a proton. So this is going to be your acid. And this is going to be your conjugate base. And I want to clarify something real quick. You can only classify it when there's a difference between the reactants and products of just 1 proton. So for example, like if this, like let's just take this this NH3 right here, right? Let's just say we had NH3. Like this is wrong. You can't do that. There's a difference of 2 protons. So this wouldn't work, right? Now this one right here, that would work because you only took away 1 proton. But then once again, this wouldn't work because there's a difference of 2 protons. So make sure y'all keep that in mind. Just want to make sure that it was clear. And yeah, hopefully y'all learned what an acid-base reaction was, what its four components were, and how to identify all four components when looking at a chemical reaction. Thank y'all for watching this video. Please like and subscribe, and stay safe.